So today we are taking care of styling day 2 hair, tips and tricks that you can do to revitalize that day 2 hair and what it is that you do. So I'm going to be bringing to you, we're going to be curling the day 2 hair. We're going to be talking about adding volume on day 2 hair. We're going to be using dry shampoo on day 2 hair, like all those tips and tricks for you. So here we go. So I have my curling iron. It's actually warm because it was sitting by the sun. But yesterday I made a video, I made a reel over on Instagram, and it led to a lot of questions that people had and key things that I want to hone in on and dive into. But they weren't even things that people were talking about with day 2 hair. It was a lot of things that were breaking it down with like, my hair already always feels oily on day 1, even though I'm doing this and this and this. So one of the biggest things that I love to talk about is product and the products that you put in your hair and how it can even add to it. For example, I had made a reel before that was about how when I don't put any product in my hair at all and I air dry it, my hair is greasy as can be. If that is like you, comment that below. Today, as we dive into day 2 hair, how you're gonna style it, how you're gonna add volume, dry shampoo, all that thing, I want you to comment kind of what is your hair type and what is happening on your day 2 hair. A lot of people say that they cannot can't go without washing their hair. They can never get to a day 2 hair. And so we're gonna hone in on key tips and tricks that you can use for your day 2 hair as you are kind of figuring things out. We're going to be curling, and I'm going to teach you a tip that you can use when you are curling so that you actually, are you turning out the ends or are you flipping in the ends? So that is going to be something that we're talking about as well. Okay, so let's start from the groundwork. You blow dried your hair. You put product in your hair though before you blow dried. The product that you put in your hair, what is it? And go. Comment that below. The product that you put in your hair before you blow dry, what is it? I don't care what brand it is. What is the product that you put in your hair? So one of the things that people do is they're like, okay, I'll put in something that's gonna add some moisture. My hair is brittle, my hair's ends, so I'm gonna put in oil. So they put in these oils, and they put in a smoother, and then they put in a defrizz, an anti-frizz, and then anti-humidity, and all the things are like a smoothing component. Where's the texture, right? Where's the holding the curl? Where's all of that? So if we're only putting in one thing that takes care of one thing, it can make it so that we don't get to the bottom of where our hair is. So Judy says glaze, posh, I missed your comment. Glaze, posh, mousse, salt and sea spray. Okay, so Judy is taking care of, with the glaze, she's taking care of smoothing it. She's taking care of adding volume. She's taking care of anti-humidity. The posh, she's taking care of holding your curl and heat protection. The mousse, she's adding in a volume and a little bit of texture. And then the salt and sea spray, she's adding texture. Okay, so she is grabbing all of those. Somebody else says that they just use mousse. So that is only going to be your volumizer / adding texture. So if your hair is feeling like it's dry and brittle or it's not holding a curl, that could be a little bit why it can't too if you're having issues with that. Okay, so Longe Mousse and Thicket. So Thicket, she's trying to add in texture to her, she's trying to add more of that spread out look to add that texture to add in volume. And then the mousse is the volume and some texture. So the Thicket though can make your hair feel a little creamy in a way. So if your hair is feeling very creamy or it goes flat quicker, that if you did get too much of a Thicket, like something that's trying to add volume to your hair and making it look thicker, if you get too much of that product and you're saying that your hair feels more flat, doesn't hold a curl, that could be the reason for it too. So you need to cut back, use less, but can you add something into that helps hold the curl, which would be like Longe's Sorbet. So you have the mousse and you have the Thicket, which is great, but now do we have a smoother in there that is also going to help hold in that curl. All right, so I'm gonna turn on this curling iron and I'm gonna show you. So I always was using wands before. The reason I haven't been using wands is because I have the short layers and it's harder to wrap, but now that the layers are getting longer, I probably could introduce a wand again. So that's why you've been just seeing me use the curling iron and a flat iron. But with both that I'm gonna show you, it's still with, no matter if you're using a flat iron or curling iron, this next trick that I'm gonna show you for your day 2 wake up with the hair is gonna have the same outcome. So again, it's not gonna matter on the hair, so what I'm gonna show you next. So we're gonna turn this curling iron on. This is actually brand new from launch. They used to only have wands and now they have this too. So we are going to use this. I have mine set to 360. This is day 2 hair. I do have heat protection already in my hair. I have something to help hold curls, something to help with humidity, heat protection, volume, and all of that. In my hair, before I start, I'll list them in below, the products that I use in my hair, so that you can get links and all that jazz too. But I usually put 3 to 4 products in my hair before I start, and they all are with purpose with why I do what I do. So you have to think about that with your hair and what your hair type is. I can further dive into that. Today, we're not gonna dive so deep into that, but if you have any questions, make sure you comment below. What I have in my hair is Glaze Hair Lotion. There's a product from Virtue that is called the 6-in-1, I believe it is. But on its own, it's not enough for me because I have fine hair. So I need the volume. So Glaze is gonna help smooth things, but if you get too much and you have baby fine hair, it's gonna smooth it too much. Sorbet, I feel like it helps me hold the curl and it just does such a good job. Both of them with anti-frizz, all that jazz. And then Salt and Sea Spray. Baby fine hair, you have to have texture. And a lot of times when I do a texture spray, this is not the texture spray I was thinking. Oh, when I do a spray like that's for shine and all that jazz, this can weigh down your hair too much. So thick hair, a shine spray is good for. Thin hair, it's a little bit too much. Okay. So with revitalizing our day 2 hair, and we're trying to create volume and all of that jazz, the first thing of what you can do is adding in a dry shampoo. So your dry shampoos, you can go in and spray at the root. Yeah. And then you can also though, if you have that you're trying to add this in for texture, you can spray onto the hair a shaft as well to kind of create texture, but I don't like to spray it onto the hair shaft until I'm done styling my hair, because this has alcohol in it. It's like a denat alcohol. It's not your healthy alcohol. So that's for another story too that I've actually shared in other videos, but not all alcohols are bad for the hair. So we're just gonna get that on the root. When I do that, you can see now that I have more volume going up on through the hair. Sandra, I love you too. So now what we're gonna do is I'm just going to assess where do I want a curl. So I actually don't re-curl my whole hair, but I'm gonna teach you a trick. So yesterday when I curled my hair, I always end the curl with my ends pointing out, okay? So I'm trying to create a textured look. So I end my curl with my ends pointing out. What this does is as I go through the hair, it's gonna make this look like it has a layer kind of like it does here. If I were to, see how it did that? It points it out. If I were to go in and make this have a curl with my ends pointed under, so like this, my ends are under. Now this, when this comes out, some of them could point out, to be completely honest with you, but when it is done, that wasn't a good example, Jocelyn. I'm trying this again over here. So turn it to where they're under. You have to get it just right, there, like that one, okay? So that one isn't gonna show the texture that this one is. This one is meant to literally point itself out, okay? So how you turn the iron, the wand, the flat iron, if you end it to where that point is going to be just staying under, that's gonna make a difference than if you end it with it coming out, like so. So what I do is I go through and I like seriously look and I say, okay, how do I want my hair to look right now? So I have to part this and wake up this underside. So it's flatter than I want. So I'm gonna come in and just wake up the underside and create a little more drama that's going on. We just want to wake the hair up and give it more volume. You can pin that back if you'd like. Give it more volume down under here and just kind of wake up those curls. Because the top, I might not want to wake up and keep curling so much. The bottom, I might want to do it more. So now I have my volume there, and I'm going to take that dry shampoo and add it in there. Then I have my dry shampoo powder. My dry shampoo powder is going to also create texture for fine hair. So if you have oily hair or thin hair, this is really great for you to add in a little more texture to wake things up. You can take a hairspray now, and now we have a whole different field of volume. So then when I put this back over, see how that completely woke that up. This did not have that volume before. So what I did was I took care of the underneath part so that my top can still look like, if I was already pleasant, like I was happy with that top, but we just woke up that volume. So of course the volume on this side isn't gonna be as much because I have it parted over to the side. But I'm going to wake up right there at that root. I'm gonna hold it in there just a little bit on this underside. If it gives a little bit more curl than I want, it's okay, because it's on the underside. And my goal is just to get that at the root. See how I'm keeping the ends out? Okay, now again, I went in with that dry shampoo. I'm gonna take my dry shampoo powder. So with the thing that I like about this, instead of using a texturizer spray with having thin hair, is I know exactly that I just have this corn starch on my hair, this oat, kennel flour, tapioca starch on my hair, and I don't have oils going onto my hair, which is going to weigh down my fine hair. Now, I haven't even finished styling this, and look at the volume that we just recreated. Isn't that so awesome? Okay, now I'm going to just assess this and how I want that front to be. And I'm going to just now, my hands are kind of dry, so it's making me have static. So I have lotion. That was a little much. I don't want that much lotion. I'm gonna put lotion on my hands. Just because they need lotion anyways. And that's gonna help my ends. And you're like, well, that's your oily hands. I'm not going through to my roots with my lotion hands. It's all rubbed in. I'm just taking out the dryness I'm creating without the hair because my hands are so dry. So see how that finally listened to me and it went where I wanted it to go? So I'm gonna take this front piece and I can tell that I just want that to have a little more fun to it. Now, everybody asks, how do you do the back? I literally turn my head and I kind of like just go like this and I look to see if there's curled parts. And like this right here, isn't that curled in the back? So I'm gonna wake that up. So we've thought about the process of what products that we have in our hair before we start. We utilized what our hair type was and how we could help our hair type with day 2 hair. And now we have a complete refreshed look within our hair with only adding key curls to the hair, and it's woken back up. Isn't that so cool of how you can do that? So it's our refresher with our day 2 hair, and we have killer curls all over again. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Okay, so anytime that you are on one of my Instagram videos or anything like that and you have a question with your hair, even if your hair type isn't exactly like mine, I can give you some guidance, but we really do have to think about what we put in our hair before we blow dry. I know people are like, but I don't want to. It makes a difference. If you're saying that your hair doesn't cooperate, truly the products that you put in your hair before you start, so on day 1, you have success. And then on day 2, you're able to revive your hair and refreshen up your look for your day 2 hair. All right, I'm Jocelyn McClellan. You can always find me here on YouTube. You can make sure that you subscribe to this channel, like this video, and always use comments below with any questions that you have for your hair. I'm happy to talk to you about any brands or just like the basics of what you need for your hair. And then if you want to follow me on Instagram at jocelyn.mcclellan and on Facebook, Fit Mission Makeup with Jocelyn McClellan, where I go live every Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday's makeup, Thursday is hair. Again, if you have questions, reach out to me. I won't bite you, I promise. Okay, take care. We'll talk to you later.